Chapter 21 Card Game. You are listening at NovelsNew. Originally, there should be no intersection between the two, but Link has become famous in New York recently, and Tony Stark came to New York to check the progress of Stark Tower. Of course, some business partners still need to meet, and Pepper Potts directly arranged a cocktail party. They talked about playing cards and mentioned Link, a master who has recently become famous. Tony Stark then remembered the guy who won $5 million from him. He immediately asked for Link's phone number. Link had participated in many card games before, and the funds involved were more or less. Those gamblers had the easiest money to win, and they had a lot of money, so they were easily addicted. Technical games often win the least, so Link needs to design traps to win more. This time, Tony Stark told him on the phone that the card game would be big, but Link never thought he would lose. Anyway, he would sign a check in the end, so he didn't need to bring cash. Jessica looked at Link in surprise and asked, "Is it really Stark?" "Of course, didn't I say that?" Link said with a smile, "I won $5 million from him. I was so surprised." Jessica was shocked. The next day, the two went out for dinner. Link sent Jessica back and then picked out his clothes, shirts, ties, cufflinks, watches, and leather shoes. At the same time, he brought his own weapons, which were covered with a suit jacket. Link brought a checkbook and 3 cigars. "How is it?" Link turned around and looked at Jessica and asked. "Great." Jessica helped Link adjust his tie, "But don't worry too much about winning or losing. Don't worry, Stark is not my opponent." Link gave Jessica a reassuring look. "Go downstairs and drive," rushing all the way to a big hotel, where there are special rooms available. "Mr. Stark." Link saw Tony Stark after entering. "I didn't expect you to come so early." "Of course, I'm the challenger this time, so I won't be late." Tony Stark invited Link to sit aside. "What would you like to drink?" "Bourbon." Link then took out a cigar. "I learned a lot in Las Vegas last time, cigars and bourbon." "Yes, you have to learn to enjoy life, but I heard that you have made playing cards your career?" Tony Stark asked, "And you haven't lost so far?" "I haven't lost yet, but if I participate in international competitions, I don't have enough confidence." Link looked modest. "After all, I still lack experience in this kind of professional competition. Maybe I'll try it in the future, there are professionals there." "You may not be able to beat me today." Stark raised his eyebrows. "There will be 2 more people in a while, one is a director of the bank, and the other one you know, Justin Hammer. Are you still willing to play cards with us, Mr. Hammer?" Link's expression was a little weird. "Haha." Tony Stark laughed. "He is a man who never admits defeat." The tone was full of joking, probably because Stark provoked him to come again. Soon, the other 2 arrived, and Justin Hammer really refused to admit defeat and said to Link, "Today we are playing 13 cards, I will not lose again. As long as you like it." Link replied with a smile. Tony Stark sat down and said, $10,000 per card, double is normal, 10 million chips, no problem. "No problem." All 3 said no problem. Then the hotel service staff was responsible for dealing the cards, and Link still lost first and then won, but he didn't lose much this time, and then he won a lot. This way of playing is actually similar to Texas Hold'em. Each person has 13 cards, and a deck of cards is thrown out of the big and small jokers. Then play the cards, whoever plays all the cards first wins. And the rules of the big and small rules of playing cards are calculated according to the rules of Texas Hold'em, and the others lose as many thousands of US dollars as the cards they have left. Link drank bourbon, smoked cigars, and won easily. Tony Stark asked curiously, "Can you still use psychology here?" "Of course, but this is a secret." Link smiled mysteriously. "If I tell it now, how can I win?" "That's right." Tony Stark nodded slightly. Link said while playing cards, "I just asked the accounting firm to buy Stark Industries stocks yesterday. Will it appreciate recently?" "Ha, this is a wise decision." Stark smiled. "Anyway, you won't lose money." "I think so too. After all, the tax season is coming soon, and I need to prepare in advance." Link said, "This time it was a little hasty, after all, I am a poor man who has become rich. I think you can handle this situation well. Stark had a good impression of Link. This kind of play is actually not small, because there is also a doubling rule. Link won more than 10 million in 2 hours, which is almost half of the chips of the 3 people. Take a break for a while, those who need to go to the toilet go to the toilet. Link doesn't need it, so he ate some snacks here. The game ended before midnight, and Link became the biggest winner again. After receiving 3 checks, Link gave the waiter a $500 tip. Tony Stark then said admiringly, "You are really amazing. There is no hope of winning when playing cards with you. Can you tell me now?" That the other 2 people were also curious, and Link said, "After you 3 pick up the cards, when you sort them out, the flaws will be the biggest. You will have to understand the rest." Stark frowned and thought for a while, then asked, "Are you judging based on our actions and eyes?" "Almost, and you need to count the cards. I have 13 cards in my hand. Based on your actions, I can estimate what cards you have in your hands and how to combine them." Link's words surprised the 3 of them. "Okay. But genius is difficult to understand." Stark said, "It's really amazing. Why don't you dare to participate in the competition if you are so awesome? I can only be considered a dabbler now. For those professionals, I may not be able to think of anything they can think of, and it's even harder to find their flaws." Link said, "I still need to hone it. What I like most now is the technical game. There are many elites in New York, and they all have their own ideas. They are all good opponents." After the card game ended, Justin Hammer was quite happy because Tony Stark also lost. The 2 were tied twice and both were losers. He has been teasing Tony Stark, but Tony Stark is not the one above, and he plans to go back and use Jarvis to summarize. As for the bank director, he had no interest in Link and had been looking for topics with Stark. Chapter 22 Charitable Foundation. You are listening at NovelsNew. When Link returned home, Jessica was asleep on the sofa in the living room, obviously waiting for him. Link walked over and turned off the TV, then picked Jessica up. "Oh, you're back?" Jessica asked, drowsily asleep. "I'm back, go to sleep," Link said softly. He put Jessica on the bed in the master bedroom, then took off her clothes and walked into the bathroom. The next morning, Jessica suddenly sat up, then turned to look at Link. Link opened his eyes and asked curiously, "What's wrong?" "Won?" Jessica asked with wide eyes. Link laughed and said, "Of course I won, $30 million, how about it?" "Really?" Jessica looked like she couldn't believe it, "So many?" Haha. Link stood up, pulled Jessica over for a kiss. "Okay, get up, I still have things to do today. I want to cash the check as soon as possible and then buy stocks." "Yes, otherwise you will have to pay a lot of taxes." Jessica stood up hurriedly. "I'll make you a sandwich." After having breakfast, Link was sent out of the house by Jessica. He first went to the bank to cash the check, and then went to the accounting office again to ask Langley to continue buying Stark Industries stocks. Langley Owsley was very surprised, but he did not inquire, but promised to buy the most shares of Stark Industries as soon as possible. Link left with satisfaction and turned around to go to a nearby bank. However, he did not handle any business. Instead, he stared at the people who opened the safe, or at the managers here to see if they had the same clothes on them. Link considered several points. First, the bank should be large, with adequate security and a strict security system. The second is not to register the information, only to recognize the key but not the person, so that it can be kept confidential. Considering the above 2 points, there are not many banks that Link needs to observe. He found 2 nearby banks, and it turned out that the safe keys of the 2 banks were different. He could only expand the scope. Langley would not put things in a bank that he had a relationship with, so after expanding the scope, Link still screamed, he is not in a hurry. He is the only one to do this task, and it is not easy, so Coulson will not rush him. As long as you give the result yourself in the end, it will be considered outstanding, especially the result you give yourself, which may be a little shocking. Link didn't find it that day, so he returned home and picked up Jessica to go out for dinner. Without Trish this time, the 2 were in a world of 2. After dinner, they went to watch a movie. For 3 consecutive days, Link searched. On the 3rd day, he finally found the last bank, but it was already late, and he left here directly. As for whether there is Langley's safe here, he still needs to see it tomorrow. Jessica was holding a notebook and looking at job recruitment information. She was thinking about what she should do. Link's reminder is right. Find a job that you like. But I really seem to like to get to the bottom of things. Do I want to be a police officer? Link used to be a police officer, but he has resigned and becomes an agent himself. However, after becoming an agent, it seems that she doesn't have much time to spend with Link. Jessica is a little worried. She doesn't want to make more money than Link or catch up with Link. Does she want to be a housewife? Jessica was a little reluctant, but at this moment Link opened the door and came back. Jessica hurriedly got up and helped Link take off his jacket. Link had been wearing a jacket when going out these days. Are you done? Jessica bit her lip and asked. Yes, what about you? Link asked, are you bored at home? No, I'm just looking for a job online, but there doesn't seem to be any job suitable for me. Jessica said with some annoyance, the police are not suitable, and agents are too time-consuming. Link thought for a while, and it was indeed true. If Jessica went to work, it would have a big impact on the lives of the two of them, especially some special jobs. Originally, Link thought about dragging her into S.H.I.E.L.D., but now that he thought about it, he decided not to. In the future, he would have the opportunity to get her a vibranium suit, but this was for protection, not for her to fight. I have no intention of revealing my superpowers. Being an excellent agent is enough. Link hugged Jessica, sat down for a while, and suddenly said, I think we can set up a charitable foundation, a foundation specifically for legal aid. On the one hand, it can be tax-free, and on the other hand, it can help some people. What do you think? You are responsible for managing this foundation and selecting a law firm with a sense of justice to cooperate with. Link thought of Daredevil. If Jessica was not suitable to go out to work, then she would not work and establish a charity fund for her to manage, which would also be paid. Jessica blinked. She had never thought about this proposal before, but it was really a good idea. Can I? Jessica asked. You can learn first. After all, my money has just been used to buy Stark Industries stocks, and running a foundation is not that easy, so we can take it slowly. Link said, we don't need to become famous, just do it quietly. After all, I am not a public figure. I am just a professional gambler. There is no need for publicity in this regard. How about you study first? Okay, I'll learn and see if I can do it. Jessica nodded. She was very moved by this proposal, but there is also a problem now, that is, the two are not married, and she has no idea about the future, especially her superpowers, which Link does not know. Everything is unknown, and she can only take one step at a time. Link came to the bank the next day, hoping to see the safe deposit business here. The manager warmly invited Link to visit, which was a very important step. A huge safe deposit box, which contained rows of small safe deposit boxes. Link opened his X-Vision and looked at them one by one, and said at the same time, you only need keys here, right? Yes, Mr. Lin, we don't register individuals here. The rental fee of the safe deposit box is paid in one lump sum, such as 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. The manager introduced the situation. When you need to use it, just bring the key. We only register the number on the key. Link did not see the whole appearance of the key, so he did not see the number, but he did not need to know. At this time, he could see what was in all the safe deposit boxes. What he was looking for was files, hard drives, USB drives, disks and the like. Chapter 23 Submitting Intelligence. You are listening at NovelsNew. Soon, he found a lot of targets, wrote them down, and then said, very good, then I will rent one, and I will bring things to store it tomorrow. No problem. The manager immediately handled it for Link, and indeed only registered the number on the key. Link took the key and left. He will come to check the specific situation tomorrow. In addition, how to open the safe is a problem. Destruction is definitely not possible, and only wire can be used to unlock. These safes are not connected to the alarm system, and there is no monitoring system inside. After all, the customer's storage is confidential, therefore, Link can use wire to unlock, but the speed must be fast, and speed is the least lacking. As for what to store, Link has his own ideas: cash, weapons, and documents. As an agent, it is necessary to have some backup safety points. As an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., his documents can be changed, and of course he can also get ordinary documents from different institutions. He left the bank and drove directly to the New York branch of S.H.I.E.L.D. He took an ordinary FBI document and then returned home. Jessica was not there. She went to find Tracy. The next day, Link carried a suitcase with $50,000, a Glock 19, for spare magazines, and an FBI certificate. When he came to the bank again, the manager took him to the safe, then closed the door and let him stay inside. Link observed again and confirmed that there was no surveillance equipment. Then there were afterimages. Link used super speed to open all the safes he observed yesterday, checked that it was not what he was looking for, and immediately locked it again. In just 1 minute, he found the target, took out the things inside and started taking pictures. These were indeed various evidences of money laundering in Langley's hands, not just from 1 or 2 families, but also paper documents. Link still used super speed to take pictures. 5 minutes later, his time was up. Generally, he would not be allowed to stay here for too long. Link walked out with an empty box, said goodbye to the manager, walked out of the bank and drove home. He used a digital camera. After returning home, he took out the memory card and checked it with a laptop. Most of them were records of fund circulation. He found the United Construction Company, and there were some problems with its accounts. Link extracted the part about United Construction Company and sent it to Coulson by email. Soon, Coulson called and said happily, "Lin, you are very efficient. You got such detailed information so quickly. Wilson Fisk himself is not easy to investigate, but United Construction Company is easy to investigate." Link said, however, the specific purpose of the forces supporting Fisk is not clear for the time being. If it is to make money or launder money, then there is no need for such a large support. Yes, I think so too. You still need to continue the investigation. Coulson said. By the way, I still have evidence of Langley-Ousley laundering money for other criminal groups. Should I send it to you? Link asked. Sure, send them all. Coulson thought about it, and then said, with these, S.H.I.E.L.D. can have more funds. Aren't we a global organization? Link said in a surprised tone, why are we still short of funds? It is because we are a global organization that we lack funds. You must know that the approval of funds is not a matter for one company. Coulson actually didn't know much about the funding issue. Link laughed in his heart. Nick Fury secretly mobilized funds to build safe houses and bases around the world. Naturally, the funds were not enough. Okay, I'll send it to you immediately, but I have made a contribution now, right? Link asked. Of course, and the contribution is not small, but you were promoted to level 6 by exception, so there is no reward this time. Coulson reminded him. Okay, I'll keep up the good work. Link knew that Hawkeye was a level 6 agent. He was a person that Nick Fury trusted more, and Natasha Romanoff was still level 6 because of her intelligence ability. Black Widow was originally the target of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s elimination, but Hawkeye did not choose to eliminate her when he was executing it, but recruited her. Relatively speaking, it is difficult for her to gain Nick Fury's trust, and Link was not trained by S.H.I.E.L.D. itself. And he is probably still in the probation period. He carried out this mission for a bigger purpose of probation. After all, Wilson Fisk was just a gang leader on the surface, not worth S.H.I.E.L.D.'s action. Link sent all the remaining files and deleted them from the computer. He only saved the photos. However, he did not plan to keep this memory at home. He planned to put it in the safe deposit box of the bank. He was indeed lucky. This safe deposit box was used again. Link was very happy. This was an interesting job that brought a little fun to life. The next day, Link asked Jessica to dress up and then drove to the gallery again. Vanessa's last dinner with Fisk was not smooth. She was a little confused at this time, but she still smiled and greeted him. Mr. Lin, welcome again. You can call me Lynn. This is still my girlfriend Jessica Jones. I was in a hurry last time and didn't have time to introduce you. Link shook hands with the other party and then introduced Jessica. After Vanessa and Jessica greeted each other, they asked, "Are you here to continue choosing this time?" "Yes, but I'm not in a hurry. The decorations in the house will be used for a long time, so I need to take it seriously. This is very important to us, and we have plenty of time," Link said. "Okay, then let's start from the last place." Vanessa guided them to continue the tour. She didn't say much, but accompanied them on the side and paid attention to the situation of other guests. Link knew the value of the paintings here and had a good idea in his mind. The paintings here were painted by the same painter, and Link already knew the information. This man is very talented and has some fame. The price of his paintings is generally below $100,000, but he is still young. It is good to have such achievements in his 30s. His future works have great room for appreciation, and some of the exhibits here are fine works. Link stopped in front of one of them and looked at it carefully. It felt good and had a sense of space. It was a good choice to put it in the living room. "Vanessa, I want this one." Link turned to Vanessa and said. "Lynn, you really surprised me." Vanessa was really surprised. Link's vision was really great. Chapter 24 Contact Again. You are listening at NovelsNew. Link smiled politely and said, "I just respect my own feelings. This painting has a strong sense of space. I think it is suitable for my living room. What I like most is the glass ceiling above the living room. The sense of space is very open. They match well. Indeed, this is one of the painter's proud works. There is a lot of room for appreciation in the future, and now it only costs $80,000. Vanessa introduced the price. "Lynn, do you want to continue or buy it first?" "Of course, continue. One painting in the living room is not enough. I chose 2 today. Both are prepared to be placed in the living room. I hope there will be satisfactory works." Link will not buy all at once, and he will not just hang one person's paintings. Intelligence gathering is a meticulous job. Link continued, "Of course, I can't buy all oil paintings. Do you have any other friends?" "Of course, but what kind of art do you want to buy?" Vanessa asked. Link turned to Jessica and asked, "Dear, do you like anything?" "I don't know about these, just make the decision. I feel that the painting you bought last time is very suitable for the restaurant, but we haven't cooked yet." Jessica is very smart. If Link hadn't appeared, she would have experienced a huge change and would have been a private detective in the future. She is very good at investigating, analyzing, and collecting intelligence. Link said, "What do you think of the sculpture?" "The main color of the house is white. The designer's blank space is to add our own color. I first used photos, and then oil paintings, especially this colorful abstract painting. Then I think the sculpture is a suitable decoration." "Well, it's a good choice." Jessica thought about it, and it seemed to be true. "What do you think, Vanessa?" Link asked Vanessa again. Vanessa thought for a moment and said, "It's true, but most Western sculptures are monotonous in color. Lin is Chinese. Are you interested in Eastern art?" "Of course I am interested, especially porcelain. This is a good idea." Link looked happy. "But I don't understand this aspect. Porcelain is about color on the one hand and age on the other. I don't understand antiques. You must introduce me to a businessman who is as honest and reliable as you." "No problem, I promise." Vanessa agreed with a smile. Link continued to visit and bought another work for the living room. It looked like a starry sky, but this one was not too abstract, or the starry sky was too different, and you could see it at a glance. A total of $140,000, and it was delivered at 10 o'clock the next morning. The delivery was responsible for installation, which was very worry-free. Link and Vanessa agreed on a time to go to another place to see Eastern porcelain, and then left. At the headquarters of S.H.I.E.L.D., Coulson reported Link's achievements to Nick Fury, who was very satisfied. "Very good, It seems that his intelligence gathering ability is good, and the intelligence this time is very valuable. Coulson, I will give this task to you now, but you must keep it secret. Nick Fury was very tempted by the wealth recorded here. This is money that does not go through the accounts of S.H.I.E.L.D. Secretly deal with these guys, don't touch the United Construction Company for now, and deposit the funds into the secret account. Yes, sir. Coulson agreed without asking. Coulson turned and left. Nick Fury looked at Link's information and felt that this person was good, whether in combat ability or intelligence gathering, but he also had a question: why is this person so powerful? He only knows psychology and has been trained in the police academy. Is this a genius? Of course, Nick Fury did not doubt anything too much, because the other party was recruited by themselves, not by others, and the other party now seems to like this exciting industry. After all, the speed of his wealth increase is too fast. He is not short of money, nor is he short of means to make money. Looking at his past experience, especially after being a policeman, there is no problem. Nick Fury focused on observing for the sake of his future Avengers. There are not many people with extraordinary abilities now, and not many people can join. Even if there are in the future, there will be some people who obey his orders. The more people among the Avengers, the better. Although Hawkeye and Black Widow are powerful, they are ordinary people. It is necessary to add Link, who is similar. Even if the Avengers cannot be formed, it is also good to have a team of agents with advanced combat effectiveness led by Coulson. Now Link's ability is very strong, especially this time he got a large amount of funds, so he can build more security points. Link didn't know these. After receiving the oil painting, he asked the workers to hang it up and sat in the living room with Jessica to appreciate it. It's great, dear, you have a good idea. Jessica felt good. Tracy introduced me to a charity foundation, I can go to learn. It's a good idea. Link agreed, but we should buy a car, and then find you a driver and a part-time bodyguard. No need. Jessica didn't want Link to spend too much. Link insisted, this is necessary. After all, if you run a foundation in the future, do you have to take the subway every day? Okay. Jessica accepted it and snuggled in Link's arms. She felt very happy. At the same time, she was also a little scared, afraid of losing this happiness, so she made a decision, that is, to train herself so that she could master the power. This was a question she had never thought about before. She never liked this power, so she had never trained, but now it was very necessary. A few days later, Link made an appointment with Vanessa to see Oriental porcelain, and Jessica was very busy these days. On the one hand, she went to the charity fund to learn management, and on the other hand, she hired a coach. The best way to control power is actually fighting. Jessica also realized whether Link's wealth would increase, because Link had arranged a bodyguard for him. She originally thought she didn't need it, but now it seems necessary, because she doesn't want to expose her power. Tracy suggested that she learn to fight, even use firearms, control her own power, and protect herself with weapons, so that she can avoid being discovered by superpower to the greatest extent. Jessica began to train secretly, and Link was not clear for the time being. Chapter 25 Fisk's Invitation. You are listening at NovelsNew. The price of Oriental antiques has increased in recent years, but it has not reached a sky-high price yet. Link's purchase at this time is just right. He felt that he was lucky. After all, he had not considered this issue before, and his current home did not have such a large space for storage. Now it is enough to buy some ornaments as decoration. After all, this is the Marvel Universe. Maybe an accident will vanish at any time. Link did not have any hobbies in this regard. After Vanessa's introduction, the other party had a good reputation and could provide a carbon-14 test report. Coulson had also given relevant information before, so Link could buy it with confidence. He bought quite a lot this time, but the overall price was not as much as the cost of oil paintings. Link was lucky. He bought mainly porcelain from the Yuan and Ming dynasties this time. Some of them will become decorations at home, and the other part will be collected first. Vanessa saw that Link liked these porcelains very much. She introduced the business well this time. Thank you very much. Link said to Vanessa after buying it, if it weren't for you, an expert, I wouldn't be able to buy such a good thing. You are too polite. I still hope you will continue to buy my paintings. Vanessa said. Of course, after all, there are still a few rooms that have not been decorated, but I don't plan to continue buying the works of this painter. Remember to notify me of your next exhibition. Link said, in addition, I plan to set up a charity fund to specifically fund legal matters. You know, I used to be a policeman. Now I have money and I want to do something. And I also want to find something for Jessica to do. Vanessa said enviously, you are so good to her. You and Mr. Fisk. Link only mentioned it briefly. Vanessa shook her head and said, I don't know either. Link didn't ask more questions. This topic was just enough, but he turned to invite, to express my gratitude, how about I treat you to lunch? Okay. Vanessa agreed. Link treated the other party to lunch, then sent him back to the gallery before saying goodbye and leaving. However, his behavior was known by Wilson Fisk, and his right-hand man and friend James Wesley reported to him. Did they have any intimate behavior? Fisk asked. No, it was just a polite thank you. James Wesley said, well, help me organize some card games, and then invite Lin to participate. Fisk actually organized a card game. Okay, but who should I invite? James Wesley asked. Mrs. Gao and Langley. Fisk thought about it, then said. Link received the call and readily agreed. It seems that Fisk cares about Vanessa's affairs and has been paying attention to it. Link had not thought of organizing a card game so quickly, but it was in his plan. He could have not invited Vanessa to dinner, but in order to attract Fisk, he deliberately invited her under the pretext of thanking her. Vanessa usually doesn't eat with guests, but Link is not an ordinary guest. On the one hand, he knows Fisk, and on the other hand, he has deepened his relationship with Vanessa, and he has a girlfriend. He has no desire for Vanessa. On the day of the card game, Link packed up and was sent out of the house by Jessica. He drove to the place prepared by Fisk. However, he had to be searched before entering the door. Link handed over his gun and was allowed in. Mr. Fisk. Link took the initiative to extend his hand, shook hands with the other party and said, I didn't expect you to invite me. I do have something to ask, so I organized this card game. Let me introduce it. Mrs. Gao and Langley were both here. They came in advance. The two were very surprised that Fisk organized the card game. Langley recognized Link as soon as he came in, so he said, Mr. Lin, long time no see. Do you know each other? Fisk asked curiously. Yes. Link said, my financial affairs are entrusted to Mr. Osley's accounting firm. He recently helped me buy a large number of Stark Industries stocks. Tax season is coming soon. I must use the funds, otherwise the taxes I have to pay will be enough to make me sleepless. Langley smiled and said, yes, but time is too short. Now I can only temporarily buy more stable stocks to preserve value. That's really a coincidence. Fisk suddenly realized, and then said, this is Mrs. Gao. She has a lot of properties in New York. Hello, madam. Link shook hands with the other party, and Mrs. Gao said in Chinese, hello, Mr. Lin. It seems that we will have a lot of common language. I just bought some antique porcelain recently. I wonder if Mrs. Gao is interested in this. Link also used Chinese. James Wesley helped Fisk translate in his ear. This person has a strong learning ability and is proficient in multiple functional languages. He is Fisk's right-hand man. Is Lin Xingqing a new immigrant? Mrs. Gao asked. No, our family has been here for 4 generations, but we all speak Chinese at home. Unfortunately, my parents had a car accident, and now there is no one at home to speak to me. Link looked regretful. Then the card game started, with $1,000 per card, which was much smaller than what Tony Stark and his friends were playing. Link still looked like he was observing, while Fisk was talking more. Lin, how is Vanessa now? Wilson, you shouldn't ask me this. Link smoked a cigar. I met her a few days ago, but I don't know about what happened between you. I only mentioned a few words. It seems that Vanessa is hesitating. You should be bolder. Mrs. Gao and Langley looked at each other. They didn't agree with Fisk's distraction now, but it was not easy to bring it up in this occasion, and Fisk invited the two of them for his own purpose. He wanted to show his attitude, which Link didn't know. If you decide, you have to do it. If you hesitate too much, you will lose. Link encouraged Fisk. Even if he didn't encourage him, he was a decisive person. Link used this to bring the two closer. You're right. There were some unpleasant things during the previous dinner. It was my fault. Fisk said calmly, I will invite her again. That's right. I believe Vanessa will come. Link continued to encourage. Chapter 26 Mrs. Gao. You are listening at NovelsNew. The card game didn't last long, it was organized forcefully, but Link finally left with a check for 1 million. He got his pistol back at the door, checked that there was nothing wrong, then got in the car and left. However, he didn't leave too far. After driving for a while, he found a restaurant on the side of the road, parked the car at the door, got out of the car and walked in, ordering an apple pie and a glass of milk. Link listened quietly. Fisk, you shouldn't be distracted at this time. Mrs. Gao was obviously dissatisfied with Fisk's behavior. Our career is at a critical moment. I don't think my matter will affect our career. Fisker obviously disagreed with this statement, and this is my personal matter and is not within the scope of our cooperation. Langley said from the side, that would be the best, but for her, you crushed Anatoly's mind with the door. Is this what you mean by having no impact? Link listened. He knew who Anatoly was, one of the leaders of the Russian gang, the other being his brother Vladimir. When their brothers fought against the Irish before, they were completely at a disadvantage. Until Fisk's forces intervened, the Irish gang was overwhelmed, and now they can only survive. Vladimir thinks this matter was done by masked men, and they have been failing and will be kicked out of our team sooner or later. Fisk said, I will replace them and complete the last step. Mrs. Gao was obviously dissatisfied and said, okay, let's do this for now. I hope you will do what you say, but who is that Lin? Why would he know both Vanessa and Langley? Isn't it an intelligence officer or someone from another gang? Langley shook his head and said, I just helped him buy stocks worth $60 million. He can't be an intelligence agent. Which intelligence agency would spend such a large amount of money? Link smiled slightly when he heard this, then picked up the spoon, scooped out a large piece of apple pie and put it into his mouth. He played cards with Tony Stark a few days ago and won 30 million in a few hours. How can such a person be an agent? Mrs. Gao nodded slightly. Langley was right. No intelligence agency would pay so much money to send an undercover agent in. Fisk also said, when I was discussing cooperation with Mrs. Alexandra, I met him in Las Vegas, so he had no problems and no need to worry. Besides, I will arrange things. The three of them then dispersed. Link also finished the apple pie and drank the milk in one gulp. Then he drove and quietly followed Mrs. Gao, one of the 5 fingers of the hand and the society. Mrs. Gao is Link's focus. He first determines the location of her drug factory in Hell's Kitchen, and then tries his best to record it and discovers the secret of the hand and the society. In this way, the mission is completed. He doesn't need to follow closely behind and directly conducts over-the-horizon tracking so that no one can detect him. It was very smooth to find Mrs. Gao's factory. She was very interested in it. Even at night, she still came here, as if she lived nearby. This old lady was using a cane and had difficulty walking, but Link didn't dare to underestimate her. She was also an old monster who had lived for hundreds of years. Link parked the car far away, then walked closer and observed it carefully with X-ray vision. This was a warehouse with a very high rack inside. Link jumped directly to the roof, and then hung upside down on the edge. Position, holding a miniature camera to capture the scene inside. At the same time, he listened to Mrs. Gao's movements. However, Mrs. Gao obviously had no intention of contacting Alexandra. When she came back at night, it turned out that she was going to ship the goods tomorrow, not simply to pay attention to it. Link jumped down directly, landed silently, and then left quietly. He listened remotely again, then started the car and left. When they got home, Jessica had already fallen asleep. Link went into the dressing room, took off his clothes and went to the bathroom to wash up. Then he slowly moved to the bed and fell asleep. Early the next morning, Jessica woke up and saw Link lying next to her. She felt relieved, then got up and went to the kitchen. She purchased some kitchen appliances, took out slices of bread and put them in the toaster, then took out vegetables, ham, peanut butter, etc. from the refrigerator. When Link got up, there were already sandwiches and hot milk. Jessica looked at him with a sweet smile, and Link started eating. This tastes pretty good. After all, what you are actually eating is the taste of the sauce. Link gives a thumbs up to indicate that it tastes good as an encouragement. Then Link took out a check and said, "I won yesterday, but there were some problems with yesterday's card game." "It's not my problem, it's some problems between Mr. Fisk and his partners." The atmosphere was not very good, so it ended a little awkwardly. It was Mr. Fisk's personal contribution. "We will go to the bank to cash it out later, and then go buy a car." "No problem?" Jessica asked. "No problem. Mr. Fisk is mainly concerned about Vanessa, but I don't know much about this aspect." Link said, "I am only participating in the card game, and their problems have nothing to do with us." "Okay, I'm going to wash up." Jessica turned around to wash up. Link wiped out his breakfast, then washed the dishes and went to get dressed. The two came to the bank, and after cashing the check, Link opened an account for Jessica, deposited the money into her account, and prepared a checkbook. The two then went to the car dealership, and Link took a fancy to the 7th-generation Rolls-Royce Phantom. The reason for choosing this car was mainly because Jessica could not drive. In the future, as a manager of a charity fund, Jessica must pay attention to her identity and status. "This is a car suitable for sitting in the back," Jessica readily agreed, and Link placed an order directly. After paying the full amount, the next step was to wait. Anyway, there was no rush now, but he could find a driver in advance. It is not easy to hire a driver. It is not that no one applies for this job, but it is not easy to find one that meets your requirements. Of course, the most critical issue is trust. Link put a recruitment advertisement in the newspaper. There was no salary issue, but the requirements were very harsh: not smoking and drinking, having vehicle driving and maintenance experience, having certain combat capabilities, protecting the safety of the employer, etc. There are too many requirements, but there is no mention of salary. People with real ability should be able to come out, and the salary will not be low, but some short-sighted people are dismissive. Chapter 27 Mission completed. You are listening at NovelsNew. Link only left his phone number, but there were not many people calling. Link would ask a few questions on the phone, especially the other person's resume, and then search for it in S.H.I.E.L.D's database. S.H.I.E.L.D's database is very large, and it can even use the databases of the FBI and CIA, so these people cannot escape Link's review. Some of them were capable, but some things in their past were not good, so Link gave them a pass. Anyway, it would take 2 months to wait for the car, so he was not in a hurry. The key now was how to keep an eye on Mrs. Gao. Now there is no need to follow Langley Owsley's line, and there is no need to follow Wilson Fisk's line. His affairs are not within the scope of S.H.I.E.L.D's management. Link made a call to Coulson. "Coulson, I found the person behind Fisk." "Oh." Coulson perked up. "Who is it?" "Alexandra Reed, who appeared once before in my gambling game in Las Vegas. A Chinese-American Madame Gao appeared in the card game organized by Fisk a few days ago." Link said, the two should be part of the same organization. "But that Alexandra doesn't appear often. According to Fisk, she doesn't like to appear in public. The feeling this woman gives me is unfathomable. As for Mrs. Gao, she has a drug manufacturing factory in Hell's Kitchen. She has formed an industrial chain with Fisk and others. Based on the evidence previously hidden by Langley, they used United Construction to launder money. However, the acquisition of the property rights of Hell's Kitchen is also true. There is something strange about this matter. I haven't found out the details yet. I will keep an eye on Mrs. Gao next. The problems with Fisk are all normal criminal problems." Coulson listened carefully. He did not expect that Link would basically figure out the entire situation so quickly. Of course, there was still one last link that had not yet been unearthed, which was what the forces cooperating with Fisk were going to do. Most of the funds come from island countries. Are there no people from island countries? Coulson asked. Link said, I haven't come into contact yet, but you should be able to find out by looking at Mrs. Gao. After all, I am only one person. Understood, keep working hard and try to find out their ultimate goal. Coulson encouraged him. Link was right, he was just one person, but this is also what the director meant. For example, Hawkeye and Black Widow all act alone and have strong operational capabilities and intelligence-gathering capabilities. Link directly became a level 6 agent, which was the director's intention, to see if he can be like Hawkeye and Black Widow. As a member of the Avengers in the future, Nick Fury will never forget this. He had proposed a plan before, but it was rejected by the World Security Council. But how could this guy give up? Just like he secretly built safe spots and bases and embezzled funds from S.H.I.E.L.D., in essence, Nick Fury was frightened by the Kree fleet. Coulson turned around and reported Link's discovery to Nick Fury. Nick Fury's remaining eye lit up, and a large amount of money was waving to him again. Very good, Lin's intelligence-gathering ability is good. Nick Fury was very satisfied. By the way, the previous actions were not exposed, right? No, we did it secretly. The funds have been transferred around and entered into the secret account. Coulson said, it will not be noticed by Langley Ousley. Well, don't let other people in the Bureau find out. I will use this money to build a secret base. Nick Fury trusted Coulson the most, but he did not upgrade him too much and kept him there. It's level 7, Maria Hill is a level 9 agent, Nick Fury's adjutant, and the apparent successor to the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Phil Coulson is Nick Fury's candidate to take over the secret base. He is a person who takes one step at a time and sees 3 steps at a time. Link was secretly monitoring Mrs. Gao at this time and found that Mrs. Gao was in her factory most of the time during the day. She used a blind person to deliver the goods, and it was originally picked up by a Russian taxi, but now Vladimir is busy avenging his brother and looking for Daredevil everywhere. The Islander's letter came out and he came to see Madame Gao. Madame Gao was very concerned about Fisk's personal affairs and thought it would affect their so-called career. The appearance of the letter allowed Link to complete the discovery of the Islanders, and then reported it to Coulson. Coulson was very satisfied, but Link was alone and difficult to separate. He was considering increasing manpower, but at this time Link discovered that Mrs. Gao had gone to see Alexandra. Link was holding a radio equipment and monitoring from a distance in the car. This is a long-range radio equipment that can be eavesdropped from a long distance. Alexandra was feeding pigeons in a square, while Mrs. Gao sat next to her, a little in awe of her. The conversation between the two made Link happy because the mission was accomplished. The reason why the Hand and the Society fully supports Fisk is very simple, that is, they are looking for the Dragon Bone. The 5 fingers of the Hand and the Society are all old monsters that have lived for a long time, and the secret of their immortality is the Dragon Bone. They can even use the Dragon Bone to attack the dead. Perform resurrection. However, the keel in their hands was running out after hundreds of years of consumption, and based on the clues they searched for, they found that there should be a complete keel under Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan, so, they need to acquire a large amount of Hell's Kitchen property rights. They bought it not for development, but for digging down. The keel is buried very deep and very huge. They need to dig deep, and need to do it in multiple locations until they find the keel. Alexandra's body can't support it, so they are very anxious. Even if Fisk has a girlfriend, they think it's a waste of time. Link sorted out the recording and sent it to Coulson. After listening to it, Coulson was stunned for a moment and then called Link. Link, is this true? Coulson asked. It should be true, because there is no problem in logic, and the only problem is whether it is really possible to live forever, but this news is best kept secret, and even the Bureau should not spread it. Link reminded, if too many people know it, then the world will go crazy. The temptation of immortality is too great, especially those politicians and capitalists. They will do anything. If the keel is under Hell's Kitchen and it is very huge, after digging it out, Hell's Kitchen will collapse. Chapter 28 Purple Man. You are listening at NovelsNew. After Link finished speaking, he was thinking about something else. If Coulson is really killed by Loki in the future, can he be resurrected through the dragon bone? He was not sure whether he could save Coulson. After all, he was reluctant to expose his strength. He just told Nick Fury about the keel and let him think about it himself. However, he still doesn't care too much whether Hell's Kitchen will collapse. Link is not the Virgin, and it is not his responsibility to care about the lives and deaths of so many people. After listening, Coulson immediately understood the seriousness of the matter. Very good, don't mention it to anyone. The original recording must be kept and not copied. Understood, I'm waiting for your news. Link hung up the phone. At this time, he didn't have much to do, then look for the Purple Man. In the evening, Link came to the rooftop and lay on the lounge chair with Jessica holding wine glasses. Link smoked a cigar and quietly admired the night, while he turned on his super hearing. Collect information with all your strength. Purple Man's information is actually not difficult to collect. After this guy has the ability, he eats, drinks and has fun everywhere. In addition, he will also look for extremely outstanding women and then control them. So, as long as you know a guy who likes to give orders at will, Link is hearing a lot of things at this time, which requires his super brain to analyze. Zirin goes in and out of luxury hotels, restaurants, apartments and other places. He stays there for a day or a few days before leaving. He knows his shortcomings and is invincible when others are not paying attention. However, a sniper can be killed with one bullet. Many things happen in New York every day, and there are many accidents, so the Purple Man has never been noticed by anyone, and Link himself is not sure whether he will be controlled by him. Jessica watched Link close his eyes without disturbing him, lying on the recliner and admiring the night sky. She had been studying and training recently. The progress is still good. She was too repelled by her abilities in the past. It would be better if she trained earlier. Link kept eliminating targets, and soon he locked the location of the Purple Man. This guy was not far from him because there were many luxury apartments near Central Park. This guy knew how to enjoy himself, so it was no surprise that he was very close to him. Link locked his target directly and then opened his eyes. But don't worry, the Purple Man will live in this house tonight, and now Link needs to consider how to kill him. Link was not in a hurry to kill the Purple Man. After all, it was difficult to explain when going out at night. He still lay leisurely on the chair and continued to listen to determine the Purple Man's voice. The next day, Link sent Jessica to the charity Jean Hui to continue her studies, and Link once again confirmed the location of the Purple Man. As expected, this guy did not move, and he would probably live here for a few days, so, Link went to Hell's Kitchen. He needed to find a sniper rifle. While wandering around Hell's Kitchen, he found a small law firm, Murdoch Nielsen Law Firm. Link originally proposed to Jessica to establish a charitable foundation because he wanted to sponsor this firm. Matthew Murdoch is a typical Madonna character. Of course, he is an extremely contradictory person. He has always advocated the use of legal trials, but he has turned into a vigilante and become the Night Stalker of Hell's Kitchen. He was also breaking the law himself, but Link wasn't going to care about it. He was just looking for something to do for Jessica, and it was also for tax exemption. Establish a charitable fund, which is then responsible for investment. 5% of its annual profits are used for charity. Legal aid is also a type of charity. The foundation, on the other hand, can be exempted from most taxes, and future heirs do not need to pay inheritance taxes, but can work here. Capitalists will use this trick to get away with it. Many people who don't know the truth think it's really charity and have donated all their wealth to this end. However, the funds of the charity fund belong to other people. Link has no business but only funds. He is not suitable to establish a company in a foreign tax-free country, and he himself does not want to be so troublesome. Then charitable funds are the best way. As for Matthew Murdoch, the daredevil, Link doesn't need to care. The future defenders of Hell's Kitchen is probably gone, and its members actually have average abilities. For example, Matthew Murdoch is basically an ordinary person, but he has super hearing and super sense of smell, and his combat abilities are all trained. His strength is not as good as Hawkeye and Black Widow, especially since this guy has a no-kill principle. He is not within S.H.I.E.L.D's recruitment scope. The trajectory of Jessica Jones is similar. Although she has super strength and jumping, she has no fighting skills. She just works miracles with her strength and cannot be compared with Captain America. As for Iron Fist, he holds more than 50% of the shares of a large group and is a super rich man. He has good fighting experience, but his strongest punch is that punch, and then he stops. His fighting ability is average and cannot be compared with Thor and Hulk. Luke Cage is invulnerable, but this is not of much use. His upper limit is not high, he is just a human shield, and these guys don't have very good personalities. Link parked the car at the door, and then walked in. There were only 3 rooms here, and entering was the reception room, where Karen Page had been working since she was rescued. There is an office on the left and right, belonging to Matthew Murdock and Fergie Nelson respectively. They were college classmates. Matthew Murdock's father left him a sum of money, and for this money, his father paid his life. Matthew Murdock used this money to establish this law firm to help the weak. Most of the cases this guy accepted were unpaid. "Hello, sir, do you have a case commission?" Karen Page stood up immediately after seeing Link's clothes. This person should not be short of money, but it was too late to think about why he came here. Now he is short of money. Link smiled and said, "No, I heard that this law firm often provides free legal aid, so I am very interested. I came here to take a look today. Are Mr. Murdock and Mr. Nelson here?" "They are in court. You can sit down first. They will be back in a little while." Karen Page realized that this person might be here to sponsor. "I'll pour you some water." They don't even have a coffee machine here, so they can only pour Link a glass of water. Link didn't sit down, but looked around here. It seems that the conditions are indeed not very good. Many things are old. Such a place really needs investment. Chapter 29 Sniper Preparation. You are listening at NovelsNew. Karen Page was a little embarrassed. After all, the law firm was short of money, very short of money. Her salary had not been paid for 3 months. Matthew's funds are limited and it is difficult to maintain basic operations. The law firm is now in a very difficult situation. "What do you call sir?" Karen Page asked. "This is my business card." Link took out a name card, but there was only a name and phone number on it, and no other names, which made Peggy very confused. At this time, Matthew and Foggy came back, and they were still discussing the case. After pushing the door open and coming in, they saw Link. The two were stunned for a moment, and then Karen Page immediately introduced the 2 parties. After getting to know each other, he was invited to Matthew's office. All 3 people came in. After Link sat down, he said, "I recently intend to establish a charity fund. Because I used to be a policeman, I want to provide funding for legal aid." "Police?" Matthew was stunned. "Yes, you should have heard of me at the West Central City branch. I killed more than 20 people in one night." Link spread his hands. Fergie Nelson immediately said suddenly, "I understand, Lin, right?" "Yes, to meet you formally, you can call me Lin." Link said, "I am now a professional gambler. Most of my funds came from just 2 poker games, and I won a total of $55 million US. "Oh, my God!" Fergie Nelson exclaimed, "It's incredible. Is there such a big card game?" "One of them is Mr. Tony Stark, so you know." Link smiled, "But these are not the point. Now I hold Stark Industries stock worth $60 million US. There will be dividends every year. Of course, there is also the idea of legal tax avoidance. In addition, the Charitable Foundation is managed by my girlfriend. The main thing is to find something for her to do. It's something that kills 2 birds with 1 stone. I heard about your law firm, so I came here today to talk about funding." Matthew Murdock heard this and asked, "Will Mr. Lin intervene in our case?" "No, but since we are the sponsor, we will supervise and verify the case." Link thought of Jessica's hobby. "If you accept our funding, there will be no way to keep the case confidential. Do you agree with this matter?" "Of course." Fergie said immediately, "This is inevitable. Any charitable funding has the right to do so. What do you think, Matthew?" Yes, I agree with this aspect. Matthew Murdoch nodded. But now there are two options. Link said, the first one is that you only accept our funding, and the funding is only for funding cases. Second, if you accept our acquisition, we will be responsible for all your expenses, including your salary. Of course, as lawyers, you too can own part of the shares. After all, it is difficult to make a fortune with this kind of charitable legal aid, and the salary is at the level of the middle class. However, if you receive a big case and can make money, then you can calculate it separately. This is a problem. Matthew Murdoch hesitates here, while Fergie Nelson is more excited. If they acquire it, then they don't have to worry about money. Funding is different, it's just the money spent on the case, they don't make any money. Matthew. Fergie immediately reminded Matthew in a low voice. Link stood up and said, I know you all need to think about it, so I'll take my leave now. You have my business card and you can call me at any time. You can consider the two choices yourself. Okay, Mr. Lin, we will reply as soon as possible. Fergie Nelson said immediately, I will send it to you. After Link got in the car, he immediately heard the conversation inside, but he did not continue to listen and continue to look for the sniper rifle. This was not difficult. He found someone carrying a batch of weapons, so he followed them out of curiosity and monitored them from a distance. There was only one person, and although everything was covered, it couldn't block Link's view. Moreover, this man's body was covered with scars. Link instantly thought of the Punisher. All the weapons he carried were military-grade. Civilian weapons are prohibited from having fully automatic weapons, and most of his weapons are fully automatic, even heavy weapons. Link smiled and waited silently in the distance until the transportation was completed and the Punisher left. He placed the things on the rooftop. This was to prepare for the night operation, and the target should be nearby, right? He didn't need to know the Punisher's actions, he just needed a sniper rifle. After the Punisher left, Link went directly to the rooftop, where some weapon boxes were covered with canvas. Link only opened the one containing the sniper rifle and looked inside. It was a Beret AS-50 sniper rifle, using 12.7 by 99mm caliber bullets. After seeing this kind of bullet, Link laughed, and the purple man was dead. I closed the box directly, wrapped it with canvas, checked that there were no surveillance cameras around, then picked it up and left, putting it on the back seat of the car. Link started it and left, heading towards where the purple man was. There was a wealthy area nearby. Link carefully walked around a few times, observed the situation, and finally chose an office building. Then he waited for the arrival of the evening. He called Jessica and told her to go back later in the evening. Then Link went to buy some clothes, a hooded sweatshirt, sunglasses, gloves, masks, etc., all cheap goods, street goods that would not have any records, and they were purchased separately, and finally the car was changed and parked far away, where there was no surveillance. America has too little surveillance. Link is very satisfied. They will not invest too much money in public facilities at all. Capitalists are like this. At night, when there were fewer people, Link took the things and came to the narrow space between the two buildings according to the predetermined route, and then slowly floated up with the things. He was not very used to flying, after all, he had never practiced, and he did not have Superman's combat suit and cape, so he could only float up. It was the first time for him to use his flying ability outside. But Link's observation was very careful, so he would not take any pictures, and there was no surveillance here. Coming to the rooftop of the office building selected in advance, Link opened the box, took out the sniper rifle and assembled it, and then debugged it. He did not need to lie down, he directly aimed the gun at the purple man. This guy is now sitting on the sofa in the living room. The luxury apartment he chose has the most floor-to-ceiling windows, which gives him a very wide view. This is also the way to his death. It gives Link a great sniper view. In order to kill this guy, Link did not shoot immediately, but waited. Chapter 30 Meeting Nick Fury. You are listening at NovelsNew. Zirin was watching the TV at this time, holding a glass of wine in his hand and a cigar in his mouth, while the host and hostess of the family, who had no children, were cooking. Otherwise, Link would have taken action yesterday. Although he is not a holy mother, he still has some sympathy for the children. After dinner was ready, Ziren got up and walked towards the dining table nearby. Link was waiting for this opportunity and directly pulled the trigger. Even such a large-caliber anti-material sniper rifle did not make his body move at all. Bang! The glass and Ziren's head shattered almost at the same time, but the host and hostess of the house were controlled and did not scream at this. They still stood at the dining table, waiting for the next order. The purple man's body fell to the ground, but Link didn't stop. Bang bang. Continuous sniping aimed at the corpse of the purple man. After all the bullets were empty, Link threw the sniper rifle to the ground, then jumped directly, turned around and left after landing. The remaining problems are not his, and the unusual behavior of the host and hostess of the house should attract some attention. Link changed his clothes. Through the clothes he took off into the trash can, poured some gasoline into it, lit it on fire, and then left. I got back to the car, drove away, and made a long circle before returning home. The anti-equipment gunfire was loud, but Link was standing on the rooftop, and the loud sound was not noticed by others. However, the glass of the luxury apartment shattered, and some of the glass fell below. Someone called the police. When the police opened the door, they were so shocked by what they saw that some young police officers turned around and went out to vomit. The most bizarre thing was that a man and a woman stood still and ignored the arrival of the police. Link returned home and took a shower first to get rid of the smell of gunpowder smoke from his body, but Jessica still smelled it. However, she did not ask, but made 2 sandwiches for Link and heated the milk. After eating, Link told Jessica about the law firm. Jessica became interested and asked a lot of questions. Link answered them one by one, and then the two of them took an early rest. The next day, Link sent Jessica to school. He turned around and suddenly realized that there was nothing to do, but Coulson's phone call came in time. Link, you did a good job this time, you don't need to take care of the rest. Coulson said, the director wants to see you and go to the headquarters tomorrow. There will be a helicopter waiting for you at the branch. Okay, I just happened to go to the headquarters to have a look. Link said. Link spent the day leisurely. As for who would take over, Link didn't care. After all, he was alone, which made him feel less like an agent and more like an intelligence dealer working part-time. In the evening, Jessica and I went out to eat and then watch a movie. In the evening, we tried on the quality of the underwear Jessica bought. The next day, we sent Jessica to study. While he went to the branch, he arrived at the headquarters by helicopter. After getting off the plane, someone took him to Nick Fury's office. Nick Fury was easy to recognize. Agent Lin, welcome to the headquarters. Nick Fury was very polite and stood up to shake hands with him. Mr. Director, I have been curious about the headquarters for a long time. Link said with a smile. I understand this. After all, you don't know enough about us, but you did a good job in this mission. Only one person discovered such important information. Nick Fury has a resurrection plan, but it is from Kremlin. The material is extracted from the human body, and the process of resurrection is extremely cruel. The Keel incident made him see another possibility, so Nick Fury brought back Hawkeye and Black Widow to cooperate with Coulson to complete the mission secretly. Link is not on this trust list yet, but he must be appeased. But your qualifications are not enough. Because you performed the mission alone, you were promoted to a 6th-level agent. You need to keep up your efforts and continue to collect intelligence among the upper class in New York as a professional gambler, especially the so-called upper-class elites. Some of them may have 084. You don't know what they will do. Yes, I understand, but the circle I come into contact with is limited. Link said, it's usually poker games that are for money, or for technology. We have also done your analysis, but our organization is like this. We cannot wait until something bad happens before we work hard. Many agents are working hard in what they are good at. Nick Fury said, we to prevent problems before they happen. This time I have a task for you. Yes, Director. Link was very cooperative. The military has been conducting experiments, hoping to reproduce the super soldier serum, which is the one used by Captain America. Nick Fury said, there was an accident in a previous experiment, and the laboratory was caused huge damage, but they completely blocked the news. However, we did get some information. They have been looking for a person, and this is his information. Nick Fury handed over a piece of information. After Link opened it, he took a look and knew the details. Dr. Bruce Banner, a super genius with 7 doctorates. This man was once the person in charge of the experiment, but he disappeared after the accident. The military has been looking for him. Nick Fury said, but there was no news. Finally, a team of them went to Brazil and caused quite a stir there. But because it was at night and the infrastructure there was not good, we didn't get any valuable intelligence. However, our people found the trace of Dr. Bruce Banner. He has returned secretly in New York. I hope you can get close to him and find out the specific situation. After all, the scene of the experimental accident was too destructive, but it was not caused by the explosion. I understand. I will start the action immediately after I go back. Link is not afraid of Hulk, but he doesn't want to expose his ability because of Hulk. The best way is to contact the other party in advance. Very good, go visit the headquarters. Nick Fury was very satisfied. Link turned and left with the information. Someone was waiting for him outside, a woman, very tall. Hello, I'm Maria Hill, the director's adjutant. The other party introduced me. I don't think I need to be introduced. Hello, Agent Hill. Link shook hands with the other party, who took him on a tour and introduced some of the various departments, but the confidential parts were not involved in this tour. Link had lunch here at noon, then took a helicopter back to the New York branch in the afternoon and drove home in his own car.